Hello everyone, this is CookieCrisp13 from HeavenGames.com, and I will be narrating this VOD, my second. As you can see, the map is Patagonia, and I'm facing a Jap player, so you gotta be careful. The Jap players will always use the sea, maybe with the exception of this guy. I don't know. Gotta look at the decks. The important thing about a Japanese player is that you can see what they shipped, assuming it's a card you can send twice. Like the 3 fishing boats, that has a ×2 on it. Now when he sends that card, the ×2 will disappear. What I'm doing here is I'm only queuing up a couple villagers. I'm going to get a total of 8. Build 3 and you start with 5. I'm going to try and age up fast with the messenger to ship in 4 axe riders. One of the best rating colonial shipments in the game by far. To hit the Japanese player early so he can not spam shrines and not spam Ashigaru. Don't want to let him get to that critical point of Ashigaru where he can just own anything else I have. One thing you saw back when the screen was in the TC was I garrisoned the Ville and ejected him really quick. That sort of transports him from the bottom left of the TC to the right side to get to the food faster. Saves villager seconds. Every villager second counts. Every tiny bit of food you can get is important here because they'll get you that much closer to 800 so you can age up as fast as possible. One thing that I'm really not doing too much of back at the town center is making sure I have a good amount of villagers on each deer. I've got, let's see, what, like 6 on there? That's about the limit you want to have on deer. If you get any more, it can get a bit cramped, and you should probably take 2 or 3 and kill another one. Also, when that deer dies, you won't have 8 villagers trying to kill 7 deer, and that's extremely annoying because you get lots of decay. While you're in his base, definitely make sure to take note of where those villagers are, because you'll be aging up early. You're going to want to get those axe riders right between those villagers and the TC. You'll be able to get 1 or 2, and that's huge at an early point in the game, even before he's built his wonder to age up. There you see me using that villager fling trick with the TC, getting them out there earlier. You know how they have that 32 deck limit now. I wish they had the decks in sort of alphabetical order or something, so it'd be much easier to find whatever deck I was looking for. And it takes that much less time. Fortunately though, for this build order, I'm not shipping 3 vills, so I need not waste villager seconds. As I've seen over there, he's starting to shrine up. Now when he's building those shrines, if you have enough guardians and strength, you can definitely kill him or force him to teleport back when he's building the shrine itself. Possibly even siege it, but that takes quite a bit of time. Might be a waste of explorer time. And you gotta be careful, after he teleports, your guys will actually follow him back to wherever he teleported. Might be interesting to tell you where his TC is though. You'll have to excuse some of the lag though, because fraps can slow down your computer significantly, especially when you're filming it at, what, 1650 by 1280? Something like that. As I'm doing an all-out rush, you're definitely going to want to scout his base, find out where his villagers are. You see that cherry grove right there. Chances are that's where his villagers are. They'll be picking from that bush. So you want to approach from that angle to maybe pot shot a couple vills with the pistoleros. I aged up a bit quicker, so you'll see me ship those 4 axe riders so I can raid them. It's best to do it on a Jap because you can maybe even kill the villagers building the wonder itself. If you'll also remember, we saw the villagers on those cherry bushes over to the right side of his TC. Might think about attacking from the right side from the sea. Place the forward war hut. Make sure to have your war hut built up by the time your pistoleros arrive. As I'm doing the seer, which basically means I ship axe, then collect 500 coin to ship the pistolero to counter whatever the Jap might make, which would counter my axes. So most times, Ashigaru or the clubmen that come out of the consulate. You'll see this Jap player is a bit smarter than the others. He sees my guys scouting him and he immediately suspects something's up, so he garrisons his villagers off the wonder. Now it's really good of me to get that Comanchero and keep him in the TC range. He'll absorb any TC fire that might come out that would otherwise go to my axe riders. Notice that I remembered the seaside route and where his villagers were from exploring earlier, and running them again between them. I'm assigning basically 2 axe fires to each vill because they'll kill that vill before it gets to the TC. I'm not sure how many hits it takes, but with 2 guys it'll be more than enough for the distance those villagers have to walk that they can get a good two vills. One trade-off of using the seer, of course, is that you'll have less villagers. That only means that your economic micro is all the more important. You gotta have exactly 500 gold at a certain amount of time, or else you might not pull the rush off fast enough, and he might have time to recover from whatever you've done to him so far. And you see we found the barracks, or consulate. One of the most important buildings you should be looking for when you have axe riders in his base after he ages up. If you can delay the time that he gets to make a barracks, you can have more military units to his less. Definitely one of the most important buildings to take out in colonial, early colonial. A little while back, I remembered to set the rally point at the war hut. That's pretty important too, saves a lot of running time for your axe riders. Now I'm coming back in trying to take advantage of the fact that I know he's trying to get this barracks up. You can either siege it, get extra siege like that, attack the villagers trying to build it, constantly harass them. Basically just give them hell with what you have. Be offensive. That'll also give him the idea that he has very little of the map to control. And with Japs, map control is very important. As you can see, I sort of made my own economic blunder here. I went a bit over the 500 gold needed for those pistoleros. And since I'm only making Keton and clubs next, that extra 50 to 100 gold is really just going to go to waste unless I build a market and get hunting dogs. But I'm not sure if that'll be worth it, as I'm trying to end the game as fast as possible. One thing that I do, and I've pretty much kept to it with my entire age career, was I've labeled my forward base as like a hotkey number 3, and maybe my war chief and axe riders as hotkey number 1. It's really a great reference and fast reference for making the last military unit like one war club or starting the next batch. Really useful. An interesting raid tactic that you can use is basically run your axe fires down the left or right side, visible. You see these guys wander there. And then bring him around the right side. His army will be attracted to the left side, that's the last place he saw you. And then maybe rush in and get the villagers on the right side that he's not expecting. It's all about surprising your enemy, making him not know where you're going to appear next. That's probably the key, the best thing about raiding that you can do. Pardon the frame rate again. See, he's a bit smarter, he shifted his villagers over to the left. Smaller place for him to guard, more cooped up. Pathfinding in this game isn't very great. For horses, that is. Now you'll see me just try and group and organize my units for when I go to attack him. I most times attack with around 5 to 10 war clubs, the pistoleros, and whether I have axe fires or not, depending on whether I do the seer or a normal age up. What I'm going to do here is try and basically split up my army, have the axe fires go right, they're faster, get his attention, and my ranged units, along with the war clubs, can try and attack his villagers on the left, or try and go in for whatever units that might be over there. One thing I didn't do right there is I didn't capture those villagers, I didn't get my axe fires between them. But you definitely want to take out the army. Axe fires make great meat shields, they'll take a lot of fire, a lot of damage before going down. And after you beat his army like this, that's pretty much game. You'll see it kind of skip to the victory screen. I couldn't record what was in between, but basically I just killed his army and took out the barracks. Thanks for watching. I'm still taking suggestions, and I'll see you next time. Again, this is CookieCrisp13 from HeavenGames.com.